Hello everyone, Bill Coyle here again with more travel agent tips. Today we're going to be speaking about networking. I want to talk to you about a couple of experiences that I've had, but I want to make sure that you understand networking is all about building relationships. It's not just about like, hi, here's my card, I hope to see you someday. That's not networking. Networking is about making sure that you've made contact, you've explained who you are, you understand who that person is, what they're all about. How can you help each other? Not necessarily how about they can just help you, but maybe how can you help each other? So one of my first networking events was I was invited to the Rotary Club. So it was a great back and forth on current travel trends. So now I sort of got them into the discussion of what it is that's going on in the travel industry and brought it down to our travel agency instead of starting with my travel agency does this and my travel agents do that. So by the end of this discussion, which was literally maybe 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes, I probably ran over a little bit, I had people lined up to talk to me about what they need. So make sure that you're being directive about what it is that you do, but also engage them about maybe a certain destination that you've been to that you love. Of course, I always speak about Hawaii because that's easy to be passionate about. And then there's other types of networking also. Networking with agents, networking with clients, and networking with suppliers. And first, networking with clients. Those are maybe when we're gonna attend a bridal show, we're gonna have a travel night in our own home or at a venue. And then of course, any community gathering. And one of my favorite community gatherings is the local health fair. We're gonna get out in front of that table, we're gonna shake hands, we're gonna let them know what we do best and how we can work well with them. And how do we do that? What's the best way to do that? And I feel that it's sharing our knowledge, sharing where we've been, what we love, what destinations are best for us, that help them understand where we best fit in their needs. So I think that that's important when we're networking from a consumer standpoint. And there's always the proverbial elevator pitch. It's important to have that 30-second elevator pitch, right? That idea that says, here I am, here's what I do. I know I have to be quick, but I really want you to like me, and here's why you should like me. Here's why you should book with me. You know, it's all about that instant connection. So that idea that says, wow, hey, are you on Facebook? Let's become Facebook friends right now. You know, can I text you? Can I email you? What is that instant connection you can make with them? And the key thing to remember during all these networking events, especially with clients, is don't get discouraged, right? It's the idea that, listen, you get one good booking, one good client, they're your Pied Piper. They're the ones that are gonna go out and speak on your behalf, let other people know how awesome you are. So only if you're getting one or two, it's not a big deal. Once you grow, once you get further into the industry, you'll get more, but for the meantime, don't get discouraged. One of my other favorite events to go to is supplier events. Speaking to different suppliers, your business development managers, anyone that's maybe the vice president of sales for one of the suppliers is there, but developing those relationships, letting them know what your needs are and how they can help you, and staying in touch with them is very, very important. You don't want to abuse that relationship. You want to use it to the best of your ability and for your client's ability. Maybe there's new suppliers that you're meeting. Maybe there's ones that you've been using for years, but you don't know who that business development manager is. This is the opportunity for you to get out in front of them and speak to them about exactly what your needs are. So don't just sit back, get out there and speak to them. So you may be wondering, like, how do I get to these supplier events? How do I get to all these networking events that are put on by suppliers? Well, fortunately, our host agency, or your host agency, in our case, it's KHM Travel, has quite a few supplier events a year and at least one major supplier event a year. So I think it's important for that, coming to our host agency's supplier events, and then considering which ones are on the road, right? So we have 3 or 4 or 5 that are on the road every year that we strongly recommend to our agents, plus FAM trips. And that we'll be able to get into in another discussion, because FAM trips, familiarization trips, are so important for you to immerse in that destination and in that product, and then have that relationship with that supplier. It just becomes very critical in your future in the business. So I think that that's something you want to consider. So, you know, again, our host agency, KHM Travel, has these opportunities for you, but any host agency should have them. So make sure when you're looking at host agencies, that's a huge part of what you're looking at. Another amazing industry event for networking is agent to agent. One of my favorite things. You know, I never really realized how much I learned from other agents until I started to go to events where it was just other agents, right? These are your peers. They're gonna be speaking on your level. So anytime you can get to an agent industry event, go to it and speak. Open your mouth. Don't just sit back. Vulnerability is not a bad thing at these things. One of the key factors that happened to me once was I was speaking about a destination like the Riviera Maya, and one of the other agents at the event said, "Hey, have you ever used this resort?" And I'm like, you know, it's funny, I see that resort when I have opportunities, when I'm scrolling through giving my clients options, and I never used it. What do you think about it? "Oh my gosh," she said, "I put everyone there. It's fantastic." Well, guess what? My sales with that resort and the satisfaction of my clientele has gone through the roof because I started using it. I wouldn't have known that if I didn't open my mouth at one of these agency industry events. I think it's very, very important to learn, get ideas from them, and tell them what you know, because maybe you're a little experienced, maybe you've tried a recent product or a destination that they want to hear about. So really make that really, really important to you to go to those. Fortunately, at our host agency, we have local team ups, right? So we have the opportunity for our agents, wherever they are in the country, to go and meet with other agents in their area. And maybe there's a supplier there. If not, they just speak to each other about what's working, what's not working, best practices, things that in the industry are moving them up. And that's a great opportunity for people to speak to each other, agent to agent. My favorite thing to do. Be sure to comment below about any future ideas that you have that you want to see us talk about. And keep in mind, we're conjuring up a discussion on fam trips. So I'm really excited to talk about that. I've been on quite a few in my day, so I have some good information about that. So please comment below, let us know what you're thinking, and please plan on continue to joining us for the next one, Travel Agent Tips. And don't forget to like and subscribe below. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a great rest of your day.